Welcome everybody into game number 2. We are going to be having coL.Heart being the red Terran on the left. His opponent is going to be ST.Curious, the blue Zerg on the right. We are playing on TSL4 Antiga Shipyard, which is guaranteed cross bonds. And do note that they did take the GSL version, so it is blue patches as opposed to the MLG version, which I believe has gold patches. Which is very, very interesting to see that MLG and GSL differentiate on that one. I find that just cool as a tidbit. But we are going to be watching this game. It is part of the round of 8. It is the quarterfinals of the TSL4 qualifier number 3 for the Korean server. It is a great tournament. We're having so much fun with it. And this is our third series. We've already watched 2 ZVZs. You can feel free to watch those. Both of them were incredibly fun and very cool to see. And now we're watching a TVZ. And I just want to note the fact that it's awesome. That's pretty much it. TVLib is awesome. We're having a lot of fun. But if you guys would like to, you can go to zanderfeverSC/vote. This voting thing on the bottom left, you can just make sure you can just get your vote in there so we can know who you think is going to be winning, because we've got Heart and Curious. And in the last game, Curious just cheesed Heart. There was a 10 roach rush while Heart tried to go for a gasless expansion. No Hellions came out from him, but it didn't really matter. He was going for straight bio. And Curious just went in with roaches, lings, and banelings. And actually, no, it was basically just pure roaches, and then it was just pure ling-baneling, and it worked out incredibly well. It was a nice variation of the 1-1-1 hatchery tech Zerg cheese that I like to call it. Since it's hatchery tech and it's 1-1-1, it's Zerglings, lings, and banelings. I think it's clever. I hope you guys too, but I kind of feel like a really hilarious tool to myself sometimes when I'm making those jokes, which I'm perfectly happy with. I'm a happy nerd. That's the way it goes. So I'm having fun. Hope you guys are too. So thank you all for watching. I'm giving you hearts. Yeah, which actually I want to give you real hearts. Hearts! Yeah, that's, I don't know, I'm just having fun to start the game. Because we're into, I believe this is the 8th game of today? I don't know. But if you're interested in the replays, I'm going to be releasing them all on zanderfever.tv if you want, and go there. It's cool. But let's take a look at what Heart is going to be doing. It is going to be a gasless expansion, and this time around, I'm curious if he's going to do the build that I was talking about in game number 1. If he's going to go for the Reactor to Hellion expansion into the Cloaked Banshees to be a lot more aggressive and kind of force Curious to adapt to Heart, as opposed to Curious doing the cheese that they did in the last game, which basically made him have control of the entire game and made Heart have to react to him. Because that's the big thing about ZVT, is that either player can be incredibly aggressive to such a large degree that it can sometimes just it can sometimes be very cool to watch how people's styles of play go. Because some guys are like, I'm going to be incredibly defensive. I'm going to handle everything the opponent throws at me and just make it minimal damage and just handle it accordingly. But we're actually having a drone following the other drone. Oh, there we go. It stopped now. So no more stalking drone. Alright, so we got the double refinery. We are having the factory being thrown down, and this is a really good map for going for the Banshees, because you have this 3 base here where you can just dart between the natural and the third, just going back and forth to harassing. Do the same thing with the main and the natural as well, and you can even hook in from the main to come back here, then hit the natural from this angle. It's a compact area, which makes it easier to defend, but also makes it easier to hit more areas at once. You can send in the Marines, the Hellions, and everything to one base at the same time as the Banshee goes to another place. You can even switch it to 3 different places all at once. Let's see exactly what he's going to do. He's got the bunker, once again, a nice defensive spot. Those lings are not going to be able to do too much damage. But the orbital command is now complete, so we're going to have a lot of muling and SCVing going to be happening. We gotta watch the gas income, because if you look at this, we see that only one refiner is actually being mined. Or scratch that, now they're both being mined. But we are seeing the starport being thrown down, and with this double gas mining and this tech lab going down on his barracks, it is entirely plausible that we'd have one of 2 things: Cloaked Banshee, or a drop with Marauders and Hellions and that kind of play, or Stim Marines. I guess that's 3, but we're going to pretend that I'm good at math so that it actually works like I was saying what I meant to. So there's 3 possibilities that we're going to be having there, and I think that they are all quite strong. I'm kind of wanting to see the Marauder Hellion play, because that's that can be absolutely devastating to watch, and it can be actually shut down incredibly quickly, or just shut down the Zerg incredibly quickly. It's one of those army compositions that's incredibly volatile and interesting to see. But we're having the Lynx getting into the main base. Oh no, that's the worst possible thing ever. The bunker is going to be surviving. The Lynx are going to be attacking the main base. We've got the bunker just continuing to get assaulted. It does get taken down. Those Lynx are going to emerge victorious in that bottom battle. We've got more Hellions going to play, but this supply level was never raised. These Lynx are going to reign supreme and start attacking that natural expansion mineral line, but with 4 Hellions here, we should be able to see, yep, those are retreating Lings. And we are going for the Banshees. We are probably going to see the Cloak too. Or it may not, because the Lings got in there and scouted all that. He may just decide not to waste 200 gas on that Cloak, if he sees it as wasting. You could also just go for a single Banshee, fake the Cloak, and then just switch straight into going Medevacs. That's another entirely plausible scenario that we could have him do as well. But right now, all these Lings are kind of just waiting to once again be more effective. These Hellions are getting killed by the SCVs, and then they'll probably start working on moving in and getting a presence on the map. Because as of right now, Heart has seen nothing. Absolutely nothing. While Curious, on the other hand, if you look at his vision, he's seen everything. Except this command center. But that's fine. So here we have the Banshee. No Cloak. Still no Cloak. Not getting researched. But it's going to go ahead and move across the map. Start trying to do a little bit of harassment. But it's going to go straight by this watchtower, which I think is fine. I think Heart knows that the Banshee's already basically been scouted. So he's going to take down the watchtower, take away that vision, and then just move in and start trying to harass Curious, who has just completed his lair. And we're probably going to see an Infestation Pit or a Spire coming out of him. I'm kind of expecting Spire. And yep, Spire, cool. So we are going to be seeing it being a Spire, and with that Spire, you're going to be seeing him be able to do aggression and moving around here. And the metagame of ZVT I find fascinating, because for a long time, I remember it was a short time, but people like Idra were saying you can't go mutas in ZVT, you can't do it, Infestors are the way to go. But recently it's been almost pure muta play that I have been seeing in these things. Casting Zotac, looking at the TSL, all of these series, it's been mutas galore. I've seen maybe 2 out of 10 games in my last ZVTs actually going for Infestors. Which I think is incredibly fascinating, just to think about how people's thought processes are going behind that. Maybe I just have a really weird sample size for what I'm doing, but that's just personally what I have been witnessing. But now Heart's now basically about to have its 3rd orbital command done, and we're going to see the reaction. We'll probably start seeing Medevacs, maybe a single Viking to start moving around and maybe just harassing a little bit of those guys. But as of at the moment, we're just looking around and seeing that not much is really happening. The Banshee is still alive, but it's just sitting here at the watchtower. It's only killed a single Ling, and that is it. The siege tanks are on their way. No siege mode quite yet. It's not been researched. But this SCV should probably get an auto repair so we can actually finish repairing this Hellion. I would really expect that to happen. But more racks are being added. I think we're seeing it move around, just continuing macroing around. The 3rd base is basically now going to be taken. We see that Heart is looking for any Lings that would be annoying and blocking that area, but the 3rd base should be done. We're at 3 base versus 3 base now, but the mutas are popping. The mutas are officially popping with a number of 8. Another one's going to be on the way as well, but these mutas are going to start doing a little bit of aggression. And the thing is, look at Heart, not ready for it at all. Not a single turret out there, and his army, is he going to push out, or did he, oh, he saw the mutas. He saw the mutas, I think, with the Banshee over there. Yeah, he's going right by him. So he's actually stimming his Marines without any medevac support. He's going to come in here and start trying to deal with the, Yep, he does so. He forces back the mutas for now, and he's going to continue being annoying with the Marines, but without his stim, the Marines are going to be able to do nothing against the speedy mutas. But the turret is now completed. We're going to see the national suspension starting to get hit, and look at that. There's siege tanks and Hellions against mutas. That's a bad battle for those guys. Siege tank is going to be saved though, and only 1 muta falls, which is kind of nice. We're going to see maybe 1 Marine get picked off. Nope, actually going to get a little bit damaged, but the mutas have been accomplishing nothing. So maybe Curious should have gone for the Infestors. It's kind of looking at maybe that'd be the way to go, but it looks like 1 Ling was there in time to actually stop the landing of the command center. No SCV transfer. Never mind. Yes, SCV transfer. We should having 11 guys going down there to the bottom. Curious though is getting more drones. Not more drones. Getting more mutas instead of drones and more Lings. But there's 1 drone down there, and that is it. His drone count's already pretty solid. 72 to 52 SCVs. There hasn't been much harassment on either way. It's just been the 11 Ling kills on the SCVs that was gotten at the beginning of the game. But Heart's starting to get into a nice defensive spot. We're having the mutas starting to once again be more annoying. Their count is increasing, and Curious is macroing definitely well, but look at all the stims that he is forcing. These medevacs are so low on energy, they definitely need to get the support of these other couple of medevacs, otherwise they're just never going to be able to heal all the Marines. But notice the fact that Heart has not been able to be aggressive. We're having a 4th base going down for Curious. Curious has been completely aggressor. These mutas, they're not in super high numbers, but they're in a high enough numbers that is forcing Heart to get these missile turrets. It's forcing Heart to stay back, using those Marines, stimming them, keeping the medevac energy low. And it's allowing Curious the time to get a ton of Lings out and a ton of Banelings. And this is kind of the new way to go, mutas. You're not going to go for the cloud of 30 mutas anymore. You get a first initial cloud of mutas for presence, and then you go Banelings. That's what you use your gas for. It's just massive amounts of Banelings to overwhelm your opponent. Now we're having 16 mutas. The perfect number to start taking down the missile turrets. We're having the Marines coming back here. They are stimmed, and we're going to see the mutas pulling away. Looks like one got picked off, and that's not so bad at all. But the stimming is so devastating. Look at these medevacs energy. The one with the most energy has 78, I think we just saw. Yeah, 78 energy. That's so little. We got a brand new medevac now going to come out and help the my holy god. More Banelings. More Banelings. Ew, they're so icky. Listen to the sounds. I hope you guys are hearing that like I'm hearing it. It's just so weird sounding. Excuse me while I die. Drink some water. What? I think I either rebelled against the Banelings or swallowed my own saliva. One or the other. Yes. Alright, so now we have the mutas continuing around. It's still at 15, which is definitely solid. Heart is continuing to get his medevacs out, but he's actually a little bit supply blocked at the moment, and there's 2 supply depots that are being built, so it's not going to last for very long. Curious, though, is at max food, so he's at a nice little bit of aggression. Medevac. There we go. And so he's got this nice little bit of aggression with these mutas. He's still managing to keep them alive, which is great. He's getting a couple more Lings just to complement these guys, but he's actually getting even more Banelings. My god, how many Banelings does he have? He's actually on the 3rd control group, 48. He's on 53 Banelings. I probably could have used the unit tab instead of doing that, but I did it that way. So you have 53 Banelings out, and there's just so much blue. So much blue. Alright, now we're seeing pushing out, though. We're going to have Heart getting ready to try and do this. But he's got to spread those Marines really well. The Banelings and everything are pushing down. We're watching them just completely going forward. We've got the missiles. Oh my god. Why I said missile, I don't know. But we've got the mutas just going through and destroying everything. The Banelings, though, got wasted on so many of those tanks, though. The Marine count is still incredibly high. They need to start spreading, though, because Curious is going to go in for a massive attack with the full surround over there, hitting from the left as well as the middle. He's going to be really careful because their siege tanks are in great spots. They've got that +1 attack. They can kill Lings in one shot. Even though Lings have that carapace upgrade, but these Banelings with their +2 attack are going to be devastating against those Marines and everything. We're having a scan coming down there. These Marines are going to coax a lot of those Lings and Banelings to come down here from the right. The siege tanks are actually out of range. There's a single Thor in the mix, but look at all these idle Banelings that are just not moving in for the attack right now. Curious is buying time, getting more Banelings. More and more Banelings are going to be so coming in to just try and decimate this entire army. This one Thor is going to serve as a great tank. You can see how it's up in the front. Going to try and soak the Baneling hits and let the Marines deal massive amounts of damage, but another big stim, and Curious just pulls back. The medevac energy is really never being allowed to get into the triple digits, except for this one medevac that is no longer in the triple digits of energy. But that is crazy. But look at this spread. You've got Banelings coming in here, Lings over there. Oh god, Curious is going to bring his entire army to the middle of the map and then stream forward. Banelings get some nice shots against those units, but we're going to have a full surround. Just look at the placements of these units. Once these Banelings finish, we're going to have them just all streaming forward and attacking the middle. Heart's got to be really careful. He's got the watchtower right here. We go. The big sandwich engagement is going to happening down here. The mutas are in play. They're magic boxing the siege tank and not the Thor. But who cares? Look at the amount of units going to be streaming forward. The Banelings are getting forward. There's not enough splitting. The Marines are getting hit, and the mutas are going to be able to decimate those siege tanks. But Oh my god, Heart splitting those Marines so well. And we're going to see another engagement down here, but the Marines are split this time. The Marines are now split this time. The Lings are going to start moving in. They're off creep though, so there's the splitting going to be starting. And I'm getting so lightheaded, I hope I don't pass out because the action is ridiculous. As we're having Banes getting kited, and yep, a few Marines go down, but not as many as could have. Oh, I need to breathe. Alright, so the mutas are continuing to take out some of those medevacs. The medevac count is getting very much decreased. Curious is trading quite well. We're having the Lings continuing to move down. We'll see how Curious lost a lot, but Heart is just not being able to really get a nice foothold as the Lings are going to move in and do a lot of damage, getting a full surrounds on all of those Marines. These are 2-2 against 2-2. So it's 2-2 all around, and the 2-0 for the vehicle. So these Lings are going to decimate this Thor, though. That Thor did not last very long. This this SCV line is getting destroyed. This Thor is getting magic box over there. Fourth base is actually done for Curious, by the way, but it looks like Heart is calling GG, and Zerg is seriously kicking some absolute Terran butt in this series. So that is ST.Curious emerging victorious over Complexity's Heart. Incredibly well done. Solid gameplay all around. I mean, Curious, his positioning and waiting and patience, that middle engagement when he came in from the bottom right, the top, and the all the way over here on the both sides, he was literally the best possible engagement he could have done at that time. Heart had great vision. His siege tanks were spread. His Marines were split quite well, but Curious just kept getting more banelings. His use of the mutas to go ahead and just contain Heart for the first part of the game, delay that third, do a little bit of damage. The fact that the Lings got in at the start of the game, did harassment in the main base, killed some of those Hellions, killed 11 SCVs. It was really good, and it allowed Curious to use those moves even more effectively. So it makes me kind of think that maybe Curious would have gone for Infestors if he hadn't done the economic damage at the start, because the mutas as a follow-up to the economic damage did a great job in keeping Heart back for longer, allowing Curious to get into an amazing position. So very well done by him. He takes the series 2-0, and we're going to move on to our final best of 3 of this round of 8 of this quarterfinals of the TSL4 qualifier number 3 for the Korean server.